This time, luck has nothing to do with it. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Now I understand the tagline.
I do like a movie sequel that just basically takes the tagline from the first one and is just like, fuck that.
Well, wham, bam, I like a Sam. Well, hot damn, it's a rockabilly band. Jumping and a swinging across the land. Rocking and a knocking in the house again. Wham, bam, I like a Sam. I said, well, hot damn, it's a rockabilly band. I got a 2-o'clock car, 8 o'clock date. My little feels tight, I want a little lady. Suit clean on it, creepers on. Don't think my mama, cause I'm real gone. Wham, bam, I like a Sam. I said, well, hot damn, it's a rockabilly jump on.
This is episode 111 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
Oh,
I'm Kit.
I'm Katie.
What was that whoa for?
Whoa.
111.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This week...
The magic number.
Yeah.
Is it?
Probably.
If we do
For
this...
someone.
If we do this 6 more times, we'll be at episode 666. Also,
Right.
we'll be dead by then.
There's 10 more years.
This week...
Yeah, we're not gonna make it 10 years. No one is.
Well, yeah, we'll all be... The planet's gonna explode by then.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Alright, this week we're talking about 1994's Leprechaun 2. A perfect sequel. I said last week, I was like, I can't remember what 2's about, and then as soon as I hit play, I was like, that's right. This movie is about
Leprechauns.
what's the fucking term? Like prearranged marriage.
Yeah.
Forced marriage.
Real,
I
real quick, Katie, how'd you like the leprechaun licking the girl's face? Bring it back to No Malone.
that was the worst part of the movie. Even though someone gets their tooth ripped out, which is like my other thing I hate, it was so gross because.
Alright, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I actually have seen this. But I only have seen it one time whenever I was talking about how AMC was like airing a bunch of them. And I remember it was kind of like I was remembering it as I was watching it. So like I didn't really remember what any of the kills were. But in the beginning when he was like, I'm going to make this girl marry me, I was like, oh, I have seen this. So, yeah.
Yeah, this movie rules. I forgot how good it is. It's a lot like you could tell that like their budget was so much better because just everything looks better.
Yeah, the kills are like next. This movie is like completely different than the first one. Like not in a bad way. It's just like very different. But like the scene, like the sceneries and the kills are like pretty over the top compared to the first one.
They could afford a lawnmower.
Yeah. A giant fucking
a double-bladed
lawnmower.
lawnmower.
Alright, so before we get into that, Patreon shout out. This week's episode is brought to you by our Patreon subscriber, Cabbage Head Creature, Steve, aka Steve Boost.
Oh, I think that guy's got cabbage on his head. Oh, I might take that cabbage off your head. Oh, he can't even hear a word I'm saying.
Who is somebody that I met on Twitter, like when I first joined Twitter, due to like listening to like Kevin Smith podcast and shit, and is a good dude. So thanks for the support, Steve.
Thanks,
Steve.
Bro.
Alright, so this movie, directed by Rodman Flender, which I feel like is probably
That's
a fake name. Written by Turi Meyer, Al Septine, and then Mark Jones. Just created by credit. Starring Warwick Davis, Charlie Heath, Siobhan Durkin, Clint Howard for like a minute, who was Tobias in the Trip Part 2 episode of Seinfeld, and Sandy Barron, old Jack Klompus from Seinfeld.
What a name.
Y'all, Rodman Flender is not only real, he directed Idle Hands.
Oh.
But is that his real name?
He has a bunch of credits under IMDb as Rodman Flender, so if it's a fake name, he is dedicated to it.
When you look at his picture, he does look like a Rodman Flender. Like, I'm getting Rodman Flender vibes from him.
Strong Flender on this one.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see.
He also directed the Lice episode of The Office.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this guy before.
That's a good one.
He did Conan O'Brien Can't Stop. That is a
Dawson's Creek.
very good documentary. Rodman Flender, I apologize, come on the podcast.
Yeah.
We can talk about the unborn.
Unless you're secretly an unsavory person, we stand.
Yeah, we'll find out
don't be
halfway through this episode.
I know.
Don't be
listen,
unsavory, Rodman.
That's right. I just can't believe someone named Rodman Flender is unsavory, but we can't let ourselves pull another Papa John. That's all I'm saying.
Refuse to be Papa John'd again.
That's right.
Oh, he did
Pizza or otherwise.
He did 2 episodes of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Food for Thought is.
Also an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
A psychic clown and part-time cook who abuses his assistant and wife learns that she's having an affair with a fire eater and plans to run off with him.
I just watched all of them like a month ago, and I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar. That's also
I remember the other one.
Later in the season. Or in the seasons. Oh,
Kimmy Robertson is also in this for like 2 seconds, and she's also in Tales from the Crypt.
Rodman was an actor in Carnosaur 3, Primal Species. And Carnosaur 2 and Carnosaur. So...
That explains his Michael McDonald connection.
And Beethoven's Fifth.
Because Michael McDonald was in Carnosaur 3, right?
Is he really?
Pretty sure. He's in some dumb dinosaur movie.
But is it about a dinosaur that turns into a car?
Perhaps.
Yeah,
Carnosaur 3. Got it.
Love it.
Fuck it. I'm a stan. God, I forgot Michael McDonald existed until I watched this. That dude was in so funny. Everything for like a 5-year period.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the way to do it. Just show up in everything for a very short period of time and then vanish.
Just save that money.
Because then people will always like recognize your face, you know?
Like, he still pops up in things. Like, he was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine for an episode and stuff. And apparently the 2016 Ghostbusters movie.
Oh.
So, like, he does things still, but, like, I don't know. There was, like, a period where I felt like he was just in, like, everything.
Mad TV will do that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. He's in a lot of,
Don't say pornography.
Not good comedies like Dickie Roberts, former child star.
That's worse than pornography.
Oh, man.
All the Austin Powers movies, too. Oh, shit, he was in Seinfeld, too. I forgot about that. Got all kinds of Seinfeld. This is just this episode might as well have Michael Richards in it.
Well, we're 2 for 2, so... Hopefully we can keep it up.
But I feel like once we get into like 4 at least, there's gonna be like nobody.
Yeah.
Alright. So, we'd all seen this movie. It rules. Alright. Tell us about it, Katie.
Well, okay. So, in this movie, we are starting in Ireland, and there's just a guy who's running through the forest, and, we find out that he's the leprechaun's slave. And the leprechaun just, rhymes at him. He's got a really sweet hat and a tooth necklace going on. I assume... Okay, aside from, the one that's the sequel or whatever, is there any, relation to, when this is in relation to... do any of the movies actually have any relation to each other leading up to the one that's a sequel?
No.
Not really.
Okay.
I can't remember because, the only two that are sort of tangentially tied are, the Hood movies, but I don't even think they really are continuity-wise. I think it's just, in title alone.
Right.
There's just, Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood. I can't remember if there's any sort of, crossover with, actors or anything, though. Or even, storyline.
I don't think there is.
I didn't think so, but I couldn't remember.
Interesting. Okay. So, because, we're starting in Ireland. He's chasing his slave, and we find out that it is the leprechaun's birthday, and he's turning 1,000. He looks it.
No, he looks
essentially,
800 at the latest.
Not a day over 700. And since he's turning 1,000, that means that he can claim his bride, which is gross. And then he says something about, he does a rhyme about if she sneezes 3 times, then she will be his bride somehow. And then
what a weird fucking way to get a bride.
It's really strange. So he basically, I'm assuming he has to make her sneeze. He says a spell, he makes her sneeze.
Yes,
and then,
it's she sneezes once, she sneezes twice, she'll be my wife when she sneezes thrice. And you can't. The only way to stop it from happening is to say "God bless you" after the person sneezes.
So that was confusing to me because, so he basically tells his slave, hey, if you want to be, don't worry, once I get a wife, she'll be my slave, and then you can be free. Don't worry about it. And he's like, okay, that sounds cool. And then he's like, yeah, he basically talks about how hot his soon-to-be bride is, and then is like, here she is, and the guy's like, that's my fucking daughter, man. And so he's like, don't worry about it, I'll take your daughter, and then you'll be free. So then he does the thing, and she sneezes, and then he says, God bless you, child, and runs. But, maybe I just didn't hear it. I did not make the connection. I was like, how did he save her? I don't understand.
Yeah, he just says, God bless you, then runs off.
Okay, so...
But it also, I feel like you would have to do it before the 3rd time.
Yeah, also, it's pretty easy to break.
Movie is bullshit.
What is the timing window if you wait until after the 3rd one?
Yeah, can you just say it
5
anytime?
seconds? Yeah. It's a decade later. Can you say it?
More details, Rodman. Get on the podcast.
Whoever was supposed to email me with the mechanics of leprechauns has not yet, so add in
the bride of leprechauns.
The bride curse, because I don't understand. So he says God bless you and runs, and the leprechaun is pissed, and he basically curses his family and is like, he rhymes the whole time. I didn't write any of the rhymes down, but essentially he says that in 1,000 years he's going to be able to claim a descendant of this man, and then he magics him up in the air and kills him, and he's dead. And then we get the credits and essentially a family tree showing all the descendants that were women in the family. And we end up in California, Hollywood, and in America. Yes, that's where California is, sort of. And then we find out that it has now been another 1,000 years later. So the leprechaun is 2,000 at this point. So we meet the descendant. Her name is Bridget, and she's going to meet her boyfriend, who works at Dark Side Tours, which sounds pretty fun. And he's basically just like trying to get people to take this like stupid tour, which ends up being stupid, but it sounds fun. And this is where we get Kimmy Robertson and Cliff Howard as like the tourists, wearing these like super sweet retro Hollywood sweaters. And so he gets people to get, he basically like talks them into getting in, and then he's like, okay, Bridget, his name's Cody. Bridget, let's go on our date or whatever. Then there's just like this throwaway line about how he needs money to pay for his sister's eye operation, and then we never hear about the sister again, to my knowledge.
Because she was like, I know you're lying about it, and he's like, yeah, you're right. Mm.
Oh, okay. See, okay, the DVDs that I have do not have subtitles, and so I had to turn it up really loud, and so like I still like I had a hard time hearing. So okay, so he's just a grifter. He's out here grifting. Yeah, because he is under the grifter tutelage of Morty, not to be confused with Tales from the Crypt Morty, just a regular Morty.
God, I wish it was Tales from the Crypt Morty.
Could you imagine?
What if this Morty had Tales from the Crypt Morty as his hand?
I might have peed my pants.
Jennifer Aniston was offered $25,000 to return as her role from the first one, and it turned it down so she could be on the series Friends. What a mistake.
Yeah, that was
stupid.
Wow, dumb.
Also, when we get done, there is an entire thing in the trivia that I will read about about their plan, what 2 and 3 were supposed to be before the idea was scrapped.
Okay, because I was like, I don't understand how Jennifer Aniston comes back.
Well, the Jennifer Aniston was just like offered the role, like she would have been Bridget or whoever. Like she would. I think that it says one of the discarded drafts focused on how the Leprechaun would seek revenge on Tori, tricking her into marrying him. Jennifer Aniston was offered the role. Blah 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 blah.
I like this story better. Like I like that it's just like a separate family.
Well, then you'll like the sequels because that's how pretty much all of the rest of them are.
Okay. So they need to go find Morty, who is the driver of the Dark Side Tours, and of course he's at the bar. So they go there and they get him. He's like, wasted, and Cody's like trying to get him to drive these tourists, which okay. And then Cody's just like, well, the number one rule is never turn down a paying customer. And then Morty's like, yeah, but the number 2 rule is never kill a paying customer, which I feel like that should be number 1, but that's fine. And so he's like, I cannot drive. Like, we'll just have to give their money back. And Cody's like, the 3rd rule is no refunds. So he's got to drive the Dark Side Tours instead of going on the date with Bridget, and Bridget is pissed. This tour is like really funny because like essentially they drive around in a hearse to quote unquote death houses, but a lot of it is just like made up or whatever. And so they stop at the very first house, and there's like this lady inside that comes out and throws water on them, and is just like yelling at them to get out of the town. She's like, we don't need you here, we don't need you talking about death, we're not dead, and like all this stuff. It was pretty funny. So then the next one is they stop at this house that's supposed to have been the last resting place of Harry Houdini, and there is a tree that is going to be important because it's very obviously a fake tree. It's got a plaque on it that is dedicated to Harry Houdini from the people of Killarney, Ireland, for some reason. I don't know why. And then the leprechaun comes out of the tree.
Yeah, that's where leprechauns live.
Just, like pretty convenient that there's a Houdini tree there where his bride is. There's also like a displaced person there, and he's like drinking whiskey, and the leprechaun comes out and like takes the whiskey and drinks it and spits it out, and it's like, the only whiskey is Irish whiskey, which hard disagree because Irish whiskey is gross. He does rhymes at the man, and then steals his gold tooth, which I'm breezing by because it grossed me the fuck out.
Oh, it rules. I hate that
No,
shit
we need to
too,
talk about
but
it in detail.
yeah. Like
What?
about how like it probably kind of wiggled a little bit before it pulled out, and he could probably just feel it slowly popping out of his gums.
Literally like cover
Root.
my ears
Each
and
root.
close my eyes whenever it happens. So, and then he like splashes whiskey in his mouth, and it's all bloody. It was really. I was like, come on, can we
Feels
not?
like that would burn
That's
and
good.
not be good.
It
Yeah.
kills the germs.
That is true.
No. Listen, he probably hasn't brushed his teeth in quite a moment, so I think that a shot of whiskey is not going to do anything.
Not for
So,
an open wound.
well, I don't. It's not a real tooth. I don't know how that.
Now I'm just thinking about how we didn't get a leprechaun in like the Old West movie.
I want that. I want a Wild West leprechaun.
Hard.
Could you
agree.
imagine? How have they not done one?
Steve Kostansky,
Well, we
get
talked
on
about
it.
that. Yeah, we talked about that last time, where you were like, they should have done like a gold rush with him, which
Yeah, I remember
in
like
space.
I remember reading something about Darren Lynn Bousman wanted to make a movie, but that's right. Yeah, he wanted to make a movie where the leprechaun went back to like the gold rush or some shit.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go.
What about Motorcycle Bandit Leprechaun? I want that movie.
Yeah, can we just stop making like
Regular movies
remakes
and
of
only
movies and just get
ones?
back to Leprechaun sequels?
It is about time, I think.
I don't like that the Leprechaun doesn't have a name. It's just the Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like there's other leprechauns, right? So like
I think he looks
Why-
like a Hubert.
I think he looks like a Rodman Flender.
I like that the storyline on IMDb was written by robocopting986127 at AOL.com.
I like it.
Maybe
Send him
that's
an
the
email.
leprechaun's name.
Oh, good point.
Okay, and then I take back what I said about in the first one where I was like, he's not evil. They stole his gold and he asked for it back. But in this one, he is evil all the way to the core. So he steals that guy's tooth, adds it to his pot of gold. Cody has driven the entire tour to the go-kart place, and Bridget is immediately just like vibing with this guy Ian, who takes the night off so that they can go go-karting, and Cody has to continue doing the tour.
Why would you not want to be on that tour?
I would want to be on it if it was not. I mean, it seemed like it ended up being pretty stupid.
Katie, there's an entire list on here of movies under the tag tooth pulling.
I saw that.
Oh,
I'm not
hell yeah.
thinking. Maybe I'll look at
what's
it
number
to
one?
know what to avoid.
Number one is A Cure for Wellness.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
I'm
weird.
telling you, the only reason I have not watched that movie is because I knew there was a tooth thing in it, and I actually really want to see it.
I don't even know what it is.
It's got Dane DeHaan in it.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy in the Metallica movie.
There's-
Who? Who's Metallica?
Unbelievable.
I thought it was gonna be Castaway, number one.
I haven't even seen Castaway
There-
on here.
There were people other than
Really?
Tom Hanks and Wilson in that film.
Oh, he played the volleyball lose a tooth?
That makes sense.
Yes.
How is the dentist not on this list?
Right? I don't remember a tooth being pulled in Cabin Fever 2. I remember a dick being severed.
I barely remember the first movie. I definitely did watch the second one.
I saw Cabin
Jackass.
Fever in the theater, unfortunately.
Leprechaun.
Jackass 3D is all the way at 13.
Leprechaun.
That's the number one.
2 is on a bunch of these tags as like the only movie under them, like 1000th birthday and Hammer Blow to the Foot.
I mean, I think 1,000 birthdays, not.
Character name and title.
Canadian Whiskey as a tag. Let's see.
3-card Monty.
Legends of the Fall. Toasting to someone's health. Oh, Leprechaun 2 is the only one.
I'm going to check out Talent Agent. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Paddington 2.
The fuck is... I don't want to... What is Dog Flap?
That sounds not great.
It's only Leprechaun 2, so...
Handcuffed to a car. Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh my god, I bet...
That was a good one.
I bet Women in Peril has like a million movies. Titanic.
Probably also female frontal nudity.
Yeah.
Leprechaun 2 is one of 2 films for Wrought Iron, the other being Building Big with David Macaulay.
Voice imitation?
Troll. There's no troll.
What
American
about reference
Psycho.
to Jane Mansfield?
What's an American Psycho?
The number 1 movie for voice imitation.
That's pretty funny.
What?
Oh.
Because he pretends to be his mom. He's doing her voice.
But like...
It's number 1, Katie, okay? You can't argue with IMDb.
Yeah.
Over like Police Academy, which is all the way down at number 6.
Yeah.
Ernest Scared Stupid's on there.
Yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid is on all of these. Onward is the number 1 for Pulled Over by Police.
Ooh, yeah.
Fire Poker as Weapon. Well, Friday the first 3 are Friday the 13th movies.
That makes sense.
Yes. And then Just Married. Lake Placid, the final chapter. Alright. I guess enough of this nonsense.
Oh my gosh. What happened? Okay, so...
Someone got their tooth pulled out.
Yeah.
Slowly.
No, I got past that.
We didn't.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Bridget
I'm not past it.
Bridget is staying at the go-karting with a bunch of guys, and Cody has the tour with him, and then they're like, take us back, and he's just like, okay, and he floors on it and like blows through a red light and then gets arrested for like 12 different things. And
The
Morty
Leprechaun should have tied a string to someone's tooth and then tied it to the car so it would have pulled his tooth out whenever he took off.
it seems like it would have been better than someone just like pulling it out with their
This
fingers.
is like a pop noise in Jackass 3.
Uh,
Oh, it's so
Morty
bad.
goes to get him out of jail, and then the leprechaun is like doing magic in the street to try and figure out where Bridget is, and this like casting agent comes up and thinks that he's like playing a part, and it's just like, hey, you're pretty good, kid, he has my card. And the leprechaun sees that he's got a gold ring on, and he just reaches up and rips his whole finger off.
There is a song in this movie called Wham Bam Alakazam Hot Damn It's a Rockabilly Band.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
What a perfect title.
Cody is back at his place after Morty bails him out of jail, and he's like looking at pictures of him and Bridget, and he's like complaining to Morty about what happened, and Morty is essentially tells him like money before hoes. Meanwhile, like Ian, who is the guy from the go-kart place, is dropping Bridget off at home and is like trying to get fresh with her, because he's essentially just like, hey, I took off all night for you, like, let's go make out for a few minutes. And she's like, I've got a boyfriend, like, get the fuck out of here. And she like punches him in the stomach. Then Ian is leaving, and he hears Bridget in the garage calling for him. He goes in there, and she's just like, hey, changed my mind, let's do it. And she like starts stripping, and he's just like, wowie zowie.
Wham
She,
bam
like,
alakazam.
Alakazam. Hot damn. Because she like takes her shirt off, and he's just, aw. She takes her shirt off, he starts barking like a dog, and the leprechaun is there and is like laughing, and you finally see that it's like not Bridget, it's just a lawnmower that is like tipped over, so the blades are spinning like where her boobs were, so it's pretty funny.
It's a double lawnmower.
Yeah.
It's so
And
good.
you see his like shadow, the shadow of him just like putting his face into the lawnmower, and he kills himself. That was a pretty good kill.
Yeah, it rules.
Cody,
Lawnmower titties is A+.
why is that not the tag?
Yeah, I'm gonna put
Add
that
it
on IMDb right now.
Cody brings Bridget flowers. There's like a bunch of jump scares in this movie that I just like didn't write down. And like they're just like talking. The leprechaun does his sneeze rhyme thing, and so she starts sneezing, and Cody's like, "Oh, you're allergic to flowers, ha ha ha." But then as soon as she sneezes for the third time, the phone immediately comes and the cord wraps around his neck and starts choking him, and they're like, oh my god. So they like cut him free, and again, just like the first movie, the leprechaun just like jumps out and it's just like, hey, and they just like freak the fuck out. The leprechaun, they're essentially just like, oh my god, like what's going on here? Cody's gonna like go after the leprechaun, and the leprechaun drops a rack of pots on his head. Really disappointed there was no anvil, but I guess a rack of pots is good enough. Bridget is like screaming. She runs to the front door, but when she opens it, Ian's body is just like hanging upside down, and so she slams the door, and the leprechaun is like, oh, hey, we're gonna get married, you need a ring. And so he's like going through his pot of gold and to try and find like a gold ring or whatever, and then he's like, here, I found it. And
Should've
then
just put that tooth on her finger.
just shove that tooth in her mouth.
Yeah.
Essentially he puts like a collar around her neck that has a padlock that's shaped like a heart, and so now he can like magic her. So he's like pulling her towards him with magic, and she's like freaking out, and when she gets to him, she knocks over his pot of gold, and he's like, oh my god. He has to like stop and pick it up or whatever, but one single piece rolls into the kitchen and rolls into Cody's hand, and he takes it. So Cody like tries to run in there, and he finds like the iron poker, and he throws it kind of like really lame, but then for some reason it's like shooting through the air like he just shot it out of a gun. It was kind of funny. So the leprechaun like catches it, and then it starts burning him, and he's like, oh my god. So the leprechaun and Bridget like magic out, and they're now in his like little underground cave thing, which looks completely different than his little cave in the first one, because now it's like an underground like tunnel system.
He upgraded.
It's like caves, yeah. And he's essentially just like, hey, it's been 2,000 years, like let's consummate the marriage. And she's like, oh, fucking gross. He's like, oh, I know what'll help you, I'll give you some whiskey. So he's like looking for whiskey, and she hits him in the head with a rock, and she tries to leave, but he just like catches her, and he like wraps her up in a blanket so she can't move, and he says a bunch of very alarming things about her having leprechaun babies and changing her face so that she looks like a leprechaun.
And then licks her face.
And not yet. He dumps all the gold on her and is like rubbing his gold pieces on her body, and then that's when he realizes that one is missing, and so she like convinces him. He's like, I have to go find my gold, I want it back. She's like, okay, well, untie me, like I'll get ready so that when you come back things will happen. And he's like, okay. And he like bends over and licks her face, but his tongue is like, first of all, really like white and gross and like scaly looking, and then he drools on her and it's like white.
Yeah, rules.
It's like white dog drool that just like goes down her face, and it's fucking gross.
What if the leprechaun is an android from Alien?
Yeah, that checks out.
I mean,
cinematic universe.
What if, like, in some places the alien, like the little thing that pops out of the alien's mouth has like the leprechaun's face on it?
I don't like that.
Just the leprechaun head pops out like a xenomorph, but it's got the like hat on too.
It's got a little leprechaun hat.
And the teeth necklace.
I'm on board for this movie.
Bursts out of the chest and is like, top of the morning.
Oh god, a fucking Leprechaun movie fan page just followed us.
Oh no.
Not into this.
Alright, so next week we're doing something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so back in the real world, the cops are at Bridget's house for some reason, and they're like, oh, she's disappeared and there's this dead guy, and we think it's this guy Cody. And so the leprechaun overhears that Cody is the one who has his gold, although I still don't really know how he found him, because like he like levitates this
phone book.
The phone book. He like levitates this card that Cody had written. Like, it literally just says Cody on it in, like, pencil. So, I don't know how the leprechaun found him based off of that, but... Cody goes to Morty and is like, hey, there's a leprechaun, and he starts talking about, like, ways to defeat leprechauns and fairies, and Morty's just like, okay, you're crazy. But then the leprechaun shows up, knocks Morty out, and Cody is essentially like, hey, you have Bridget, I have the coin, and we'll trade. And the leprechaun's like, yeah, sure, okay, give me the coin first. And Cody, like a fucking idiot, is like about to give the coin to him. And Morty is like, you fucking idiot, knocks a bookshelf over onto the leprechaun, is like, don't ever trust the leprechaun, like, we have to get out of here. So they leave and they go to a bar.
I love the idea of a world where, like, people are just like, you dumb asshole, like, you know you can't trust a leprechaun.
Come on, man.
Well, I do appreciate that, like, in a lot of these movies, whenever something happens that you have to, like, sort of suspend your belief, the other people are just like, what are you talking about? Even though, like, they've experienced some, like, as soon as he sees the leprechaun, he's just like, he's on board. He's like, this shit is real. You cannot trust this guy. Like, there's like no doubt in his mind.
Yeah.
It's normally the opposite or whatever. So they go into a bar, and it's St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if we mentioned that. Like, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, this is the only Leprechaun
Leprechaun's
movie
birthday.
that takes place on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
I wish it took place, like, I don't know, Christmas?
Yes.
Do none of them?
No, like,
They're all St. Patrick's Day.
no, this is the only one that takes place on St. Patrick's Day.
No, I'm pretty sure they're all St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, alright. I would fucking love like if the Leprechaun series was just different holidays.
Labor Day.
Yeah. Leprechaun
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day.
At least that one would make sense because he like travels via tree.
Well, for a movie.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty sure. I can't remember how he shows up in the next one, but then he's just in space, so there's no tree.
Right.
So
No
There's a
space.
space tree.
there should be Leprechaun,
Yeah, there
Aquafina,
definitely
Hunger
should be a
Force
space.
crossover with just the fucking living trees, but they're in space.
I want to see the Leprechaun fight the Mooninites.
Oh man, that'd be amazing. Alternate.
Oh, they're in a bar.
Dude, I think I forgot to mention this. There's an alternate title for this movie that is One Wedding and Lots of Funerals. Imagine like
Instead of just Leprechaun 2,
Yeah.
it was called Leprechaun One
no,
Wedding
I
and
think
Multiple
I don't even think there was a leprechaun as part of it.
Wow.
That would rule if they just had all the Leprechaun sequels, but they didn't have Leprechaun in the name.
That'd be amazing. So you just like went to watch this movie and you're just like, what the fuck? This is a leprechaun sequel? Like,
Space Journey.
that was my big complaint with like when Prometheus came out, was that like they promoted it as an Aliens like prequel or whatever, which like that movie would have. Could you imagine going to see that movie, just being like, oh, I'm gonna go watch this like weird sci-fi movie, and then you just start putting together that it was like a fucking Alien prequel without like prior knowledge? That'd be
Would
fucking
Yeah.
better.
amazing.
Yeah.
Now just picture that as a Leprechaun sequel instead.
Prometheus?
No, yes. The end of it, instead of like the fucking neomorph, it's a
It's just the Leprechaun.
Warwick Davis pops
would've-
out.
That would have blown my mind. Okay, so they're at the bar, and Cody is in the bathroom, and he's like gonna go to the bathroom, I guess. I don't know. And then there's like this really slow pan where we see these like little leprechaun shoes with like the buckles and stuff, like walking very slowly underneath the bathroom stall. And Cody's like, "Oh my god," but that's okay. It's just Tony Cox. He is great, and he is like, "Want some of me gold?" and makes him take some chocolate gold coins. Cody leaves immediately and is talking to Morty, and this was like a pretty cool scene because he's like at the bar and he's just like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, we got to figure this out." And Morty's just like non-responsive, and he's like, "What the heck is going on?" And he's just like, "He's here." And then it pans down, and the leprechaun's just like sitting at the end of the bar, just like tapping his talons on like the bar top, looking very pissed.
He's so like just grumpy.
Yeah.
I mean, same.
Yeah.
And so then he like shows up and he's just like, "Hey guys, I want my gold." And they're just like, "Yeah, well, we want Bridget." So Morty's like, "Hey everybody, let me make a toast to my friend who just got married." And essentially the leprechaun, like, he like goats the leprechaun into doing like a shot for shot kind of thing. So they're getting drunk. Meanwhile, Bridget is like down in the caverns, like gathering rocks, and she's like trying to escape. So we cut back to the bar. The leprechaun is like drunk. This might be my favorite. This like whole thing might be my favorite scene because the leprechaun is like, "I know what you're trying to do and it won't work." And then he tries to like magic an ashtray, and the music is all like dopey. It's like because he's like drunk. And the ashtray is just like flopping around, like flops down on the counter. It's just very funny.
We should have Katie do all the music for the podcast.
Yes, the drunk leprechaun rules.
I love it. I wish he was drunk longer, to be
Yes,
honest.
the whole movie.
Yes. I wish he was like a old, like, drunken fighter man. Like,
Drunken Fighter Man.
yeah.
That's the film I want.
The sequel to
Old
Psycho
Drunken
Gorman.
Fighter Man.
Old drunk fighter man. And Morty is essentially just like, hey, grabs onto the leprechaun and is just like, "Hey, you are trashed. You can't do anything. Like, you have to listen to us." And the leprechaun just like hits him over the head with a bottle, which he should have seen coming. So Bridget, meanwhile, has found a box that it was buried in the dirt, and it has like pipes and tools and like booze in it. And she takes out. I just wrote a pick. He says what it is, but I have no idea. It's like it kind of looks like an ice pick, but I assume it's cleaning out a pipe or something.
I just thought it was an ice pick too.
I think it's. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, it looks like an ice pick. It's probably not.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say you clean a pipe with an ice pick.
I mean, probably. So meanwhile, the leprechaun has like left the bar and has gone to somewhere else to drink coffee to try and like sober up. And this is when we get Michael McDonald, and he is just like ridiculous as this like bartender who's like trying to leave and like trying to get the leprechaun to like pay his tab and leave, and is like saying a bunch of offensive short jokes and whatnot. And the leprechaun like pins his hands to the bar with like silverware and then turns on the espresso machine, and like literally his face gets steamed off, and it's pretty.
I just love like all of the miscommunications between the two, where he's just like, "Oh, can I pay with gold?" And he's like, "Yeah, gold card, Visa, MasterCard,
Yeah.
whatever."
Oh, he's like, "You want me gold?"
Yeah. Oh, rules. I wish this scene was like 10 minutes longer. Just let
They
like
should have like a buddy cop film together.
yes.
Yes.
God, we need so many fucking new Leprechaun movies.
I think Michael McDonald would be down.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely. I don't think he's doing anything.
Probably not. Okay, so Cody and Morty go back to like the go-kart office because they have realized that like the leprechaun can't touch or escape from wrought iron. So they're gonna go get this like huge iron safe that's there. So Cody's like trying to figure out how they're gonna get this. It's like a huge safe. Like a child could get into the safe, or like a leprechaun. It's like a leprechaun size safe.
Yeah, where you keep your
And
money
he's like
at.
inside in a leprechaun in a child size safe.
A safe the size of a leprechaun, just in case. You never know.
Yep. In case you don't have like a 4-leaf clover field by your house. So he's like inside trying to figure out how they're gonna like get it out, and Morty goes out to the hearse, and there's like a security officer there who like handcuffs him to the car, and Cody meanwhile hides in the ceiling, like hides from the cop, and the leprechaun shows up and is just like, yo, the leprechaun like beats Morty up, I guess, and Cody is in the office like watching, and he's just like, hey, stop, I have your coin, I'm in here. And the leprechaun's like, okay, well, give it to me. And he's like, no, you gotta come in here. So the leprechaun runs and jumps through a doggy door that's in the bottom of the door, and immediately just jumps right into the safe, which
He
pretty good
dives. He
yeah.
dives through the doggy door. It's like, bro, what was your plan?
He needs that gold.
Was he gonna like slide and punch him in the ankle?
The
to
leprechaun
incapacitate him?
is Jeff Bezos, just trying to get that extra gold. Doesn't have enough, so he's just willing to murder people to get more gold. I don't know, this fell apart.
Yeah,
real
no
quickly.
plan.
The new yacht.
He's just going by the seat of his pants. He was just gonna roll with the punches. I wish the dog was inside, and then he like leapt into the dog's mouth. Now I'm imagining him wearing like a Doberman, or no, Rottweiler onesie.
What if the dog ate him and just became the new leprechaun?
Right, that's like what I was thinking.
But just like in dog form, so it's got like the shoes with the buckles and the hat on.
Oh, I love that. Okay, leprechaun dog, leper dog, dog-a-con.
Dog-a-con.
Okay. So the Leprechaun is now in the safe, and Cody is like, okay, like I'm gonna get some stuff so that we can, get this out. And Morty, who has since been unhandcuffed, runs in there and locks Cody in the closet because he is going to get 3 wishes from the Leprechaun because he is a fucking idiot. So Morty is like talking to the Leprechaun, and he wishes
He's trying to get his
for
astronaut pin back.
He's like, I could wish for $1 million or $1 billion, but that's not what I want. I want your gold. Give me your pot of gold. And Cody's just like, bro, this is a bad idea. Like, don't do this shit. Also, Morty was the one that was telling him not to trust the Leprechaun. So this is just like dumb on a whole nother level, because he's like, I want your gold. So the Leprechaun's like, all right, if you want it, here you go. And the pot of gold appears in Morty's stomach. Like,
It seems terrible.
you can see the outline of the pot.
That's some
in his stomach.
indigestion going on.
Yeah, and he's just yelling, get it out of me, get it out of me. And so this is doubly stupid because he wishes, the Leprechaun's like, I need to get out of here in order to get the pot of gold out of your stomach. And so Morty wishes for the Leprechaun to be out of the safe, but then the Leprechaun's like, you need to let me out because it's wrought iron, I can't touch it. So Morty himself lets the Leprechaun out, and he's just like, your second wish is granted. And I was like, oh my god.
That's my favorite part of the whole movie.
And then he's like, okay, what's your third wish? And Morty's like, get the gold out of me, get the gold out of me. He's like, all right. And I was like, Morty, semantics, bro. Because the Leprechaun just like slices his stomach open and takes the pot of gold. Morty's dead.
The effect.
R.I.P. Mortimer.
The effect on his stomach with like the pot in it is so stupid. I love it.
It is. It's like literally a pot belly.
Can't wait till we get to the next movie with the like most ridiculous body horror fucking scene in it.
Oh my god.
We gotta keep it going, because in the last, I was like listening to the first Leprechaun, and we were talking about how, what's his name, Ozzy swallows that gold coin, but then we were like, yeah, he swallowed a conch-sized gold coin, and that's like essentially what this looked like. Because it looks like the fake stomach they made, they like molded it to look like a flesh-colored pot of gold.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It was very gross, and it's like he's laying up against a desk and it's like in his lap. Like,
would you
him?
Oh, I was gonna say, would you rather have the pot of gold or the tooth slowly pulled out?
Tooth.
The tooth, because you could get over that. I don't feel like you could get it over having a pot of gold in your stomach.
Yeah.
Like,
I had to...
okay, if he had said, Leprechaun, I wish you to safely remove this pot of gold from my stomach and not slice it open, and then he just like took it out, like, what if his stomach stayed like that and he just had like a huge flap?
What?
I've had to have a tooth pulled without like Novocaine or anything before, and I think I could do that again.
Fuck that.
It's not great, but
I don't like any of it.
I just deal with like
so
my
dead.
teeth hurting instead of going to the fucking dentist, because the dentist is the worst.
Same. So Cody is free now, but the security officer wakes up and comes in and gets him and is like, how many people are you gonna kill? And so he's like got him cuffed, and the Leprechaun is outside pretending to be a girl, and is like, help, he hurt me. And then the Leprechaun is again in a souped up cart, much like he was in the first one, but this time it's a go-kart, and it just has like spikes on it. And so he's just like doing donuts and like, whatever. He runs over the cop a few times. And
What's happening?
I just saw the Leprechaun thing, and I was like, let me.
What?
Okay. The Leprechaun
what's
account
happening.
that followed us.
Oh.
It's got like shamrocks in the name.
Yeah, of course.
The Leprechaun, yeah, okay, he kills the cop. The as Oh, okay. So then basically Cody is just like, come and get me, like I have your coin, whatever. And the Leprechaun charges him with the car, but then instead of like mowing him down, he just goes straight through him. So then we find out that because Cody has a piece of his gold, he cannot be harmed by the Leprechaun, which, like, I guess we knew that from the first one. He could still hurt them though. He just like went straight through them.
Yeah.
I guess he can just make other things attack him. He can't like physically do it because the Leprechaun is just like, oh, so Cody gets like the iron bar or whatever. The Leprechaun leaves because he figures out he can't hurt him, and Cody's like, okay, I'm gonna go fuck shit up. So he goes to the tree, figures out how to get in, I guess. The Leprechaun is like back at his lair, and Bridget, there's like this scene of Bridget like seducing him, which is like super gross, and then she tries to stab him in the back with like the ice pick, but it like just bends. And the Leprechaun's like, my dad gave this to me. And she's like, well, shit. So then we get this like long sequence sort of Cody like wandering through the underground cave system, and he's like attacked by a skeleton and some brambles and stuff. The Leprechaun's just like running around.
Fearsome like trap setup. You've got a skeleton and some brambles. Boom.
Like, yeah,
done.
that's it. That's all
Defended.
the Leprechaun thought he needed. Yeah. Bridget. Meanwhile, Bridget has realized that there's like a pin in the back of her like collar thing, and so she picks up the fucked up ice pick thing and is like using it to get the pin out. So she gets it off, and Cody and the Leprechaun like see that she's free. They're all like running around together or whatever. They get separated. They come back together, and Cody's like, oh, there you are. We got to get out of here. And Bridget is like, hey, I love you. Give me the coin, and we'll leave it here and escape together because I found a way out. And Cody's like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, all right. So he gives her the coin, and she starts laughing and like turns into the Leprechaun, essentially.
Damn.
Nobody
and
ever
the Leprechaun
learns.
Right? So the Leprechaun's like, ha ha ha, I win, you lose, you fucking idiot. And the Leprechaun like uses magic to like throw Cody back, and it looks like the rod he was holding has gone through him, and Bridget shows up again and is just like, oh no, he's dead, how could you? And she's like, oh, it's really over, isn't it? And the Leprechaun's like, yeah, bitch, you're mine. But guess what? Cody's alive, and he stabs the Leprechaun with the wrought iron, and he starts sparking and shit because the coin that he gave him was not a real coin. It was the chocolate coin that he got in the bathroom earlier.
Boom.
So the Leprechaun is like, oh no, and sparks a bunch, and then he literally explodes into pieces.
This plot makes zero sense to me because I feel like based on the Leprechaun's like attraction to gold and how
he would know,
like,
it
yeah,
was
he
fake.
should know like immediately.
Yeah. Also, I don't understand.
No
I guess
truth
when
in
the
this art.
Leprechaun when the Leprechaun like did his force power on him, I guess he threw himself back, ? Because like technically his powers shouldn't have worked on him if he didn't have the coin, or if he still had the coin. So I don't know. Anyway, so Leprechaun explodes into big chunks everywhere. Cody and Bridget get out and they kiss, and Bridget does one of the worst fake laughs I've ever seen in my life, and then Cody is just like, we don't need this anymore, and like flicks the coin into the dirt by the tree, and they leave.
That's a lie. You could definitely use that. You need that gold.
But also, like, for some reason I thought, like, I fast forward through the credits because I was like, what was the point of that? Is he gonna, like, is his little hand gonna come out and grab the coin or something? But nothing happened, and I was like, okay. And that's the end.
Alright, so this thing on IMDb about what was originally planned is weird because there's a character named Mandy that they keep referring to. There's like Mandy is returning in part 3 that I don't remember a Mandy in this movie. But it says, originally it was planned to film Leprechaun 2 and 3 back-to-back with Bridget, Cody, Ian, and Mandy returning for part 3. The studio later scrapped the idea to film Leprechaun 3 immediately afterwards, resulting in most of Leprechaun 2 footage being deleted and rewritten before reshoots. The title of the treatment was Trial of the Leprechaun, and it was picked up right where I guess 2 was going to be called Bride of the Leprechaun, or maybe that's like an alternate title for it. But it picked up right where Bride of Leprechaun ended, with Bridget and Cody outside the Leprechaun's lair after he exploded. Just after they leave and make plans to get food, the police.
I mean, yeah.
The police arrive and arrest Cody for the murders of all the people the Leprechaun killed. Bridget tries to tell the police the truth, but they don't believe her. Bridget starts working together with Mandy to look for a lawyer to represent Cody, but fail miserably. They end up forced to go to trial with a public defender, and the case goes sideways when Ian appears alive as the star witness, claiming to have watched Cody kill the victims. Bridget goes to a shaman who helps teach her a spell which weakens and forces the supernatural to reveal themselves. What the hell? The next day in court, Bridget performs the spell, and the leprechaun spirit is forced out of Ian's body and then takes over Officer Murphy. The spirit is forced out of Ian's body and then takes over Officer Murray, Lyle's father, who wants Cody's dead, using his pistol to kill many people, but failing to kill Cody, who escapes with Bridget. Ian wakes up in the courtroom, having his memory altered by the leprechaun into believing Cody was responsible for everything. Ian and a bunch of his jock friends go looking for Cody and Bridget, who went to visit the shaman, who reveals that the way to kill the leprechaun is to force his spirit to flee multiple times. That's a terrible way to kill a leprechaun. The leprechaun, as Murphy, shows up and shoots the shaman. He gets into a fight with Cody, but is beaten by a kick to the groin. Just as Cody is about to escape, he is caught by Ian, who starts to beat him up until Bridget convinces him he is being fooled. The leprechaun is then forced out of Murphy's body after Ian shoots him dead and jumps into Cody. He struggles for control as the leprechaun forces his body to murder Ian's friends. Cody stops the leprechaun and tells Bridget how weak the leprechaun is, and how if she says the spell one last time, he will be dead for sure. He loses control just as the leprechaun starts to use him to strangle Ian. Bridget finishes the spell and saves Ian, but the leprechaun manages to drag Cody to hell with him. Bridget breaks down as Ian consoles her. The final scene is Cody making a deal with the leprechaun to escape hell and make it back to Earth.
Okay. I like the part where at the end of Leprechaun 2, Cody is arrested for the murders, and that's it.
I was genuinely hoping that it was just going to be like an episode of Law and Order, but with the leprechaun like defending himself.
That's so sick if it was just like a crime procedural.
Once that didn't happen, you lost me.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Ian's alive.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and also who's Mandy?
Yeah,
maybe Mandy was going to be Jennifer Aniston. No, wait, her name's Tori.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
Mandy at all.
Mandy from Mandy comes.
Yeah. It's a prequel.
Early crossover event.
Well, I gotta say I'm happy it didn't go that way because that sounded really stupid.
You haven't seen 3 yet, so.
Uh-oh.
Because that was going to be 3.
Right.
So we'll see how you feel after you watch 3. Although 3.
Well, I know that 3 takes place in Las Vegas, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, it's so good.
He's starting to look much more like, less like a leprechaun and more like a creature.
It pretty much kind of stays that way. This was the last one. Like, Leprechaun and Leprechaun 2 both had, like, theatrical releases. They all go straight to video after this one.
Ah, okay.
All right. Weekly World News updates. None of them are very good. Banana is direct phone line to aliens.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's the only good one. The rest of them are like, Russians hacked my DVR. The Brooklyn man hasn't stopped dancing since 1977. Most of this shit's just about their Kickstarter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, once they started asking for money, they really fell off. Can you get away?
All right, you got any news?
I have a lot of news.
Get that newsy voice on.
Extra, extra.
That sounds very Australian.
Extra. I cannot imagine trying to read all the news in that cabbage voice. Let's see. Here we go. Netflix has greenlit a series created by Ryan Murphy called Monster, Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Yes. Do we need more fucking things about Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
No.
There's
we
like
don't.
actually not really
Christmas
that
ornaments.
much.
There's.
Well,
I guarantee. I'm gonna Google that right now, and I guarantee you that exists.
God.
it probably does.
No doubt.
It's going to be a limited 10-episode series. Directing it is going to be Janet Mock from Pose and Carl Franklin from Mindhunter. Both very good.
Yep.
So
Set of 6 serial killer Christmas ornaments, holiday true crime horror on Amazon.
wow. What is it? Is it a
It's
like?
just fucking stupid Christmas ornaments with like drawings of or like their mug shots.
Oh yeah. The mugshot stuff is all over the place. It's pretty
True
stupid.
crime culture is the worst.
Tom DeLonge set to direct a coming-of-age sci-fi film called Monsters of California.
I'm in.
He is also going to compose the film score.
Better have some aliens
Can't
in
wait
it.
to hear Angels and Airwaves. Like,
It better just be like he should just use like any of the Blink-182 songs he was on. Just be like, fuck
just
you.
damn it for 2 hours.
Oh shit, that would rule.
Okay. Michael Dougherty set to direct a series adaptation of Nightbreed, which I'm pretty
Weird.
interested in. I don't really know how they're going to do a series about it, but sounds cool. He's also working on the Hellraiser series, so I feel like he's, could be cool because he's like balls deep in that shit right now.
My thing is like they're announcing all of this stuff that they can't shoot, and so I can't imagine like either half of it's actually going to come to fruition or that it will be the same as like it, like they're announcing this stuff but it's going to change based on.
Well, the thing I think that they started to do like a lot more recently is talking about stuff that's like in development, so it's like not even to the point where they're casting people yet.
Yeah.
So like they have a long time, but
Yeah. Hey, in 4 years, this is going to be a thing.
yeah,
Get ready.
I mean,
Get ready to
so
watch
rather
it right
than
before
it
the
being
world melts.
yeah, pretty
Sick.
much.
I'm in.
Yeah, so like rather than announcing it when it's like starting to shoot, I feel like they're announcing it like earlier and earlier because yeah, otherwise there would be like no news aside from like these people have been shooting this whole time for some reason and now they have to stop because half the cast has COVID. Like, duh, you know what I mean? Like I saw the new Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, I mean, got delayed because of stuff and I was like, well, you should just cancel it. Xbox is doing Costume Quest, which I love that game. It's super cute. And then also something called Slayaway Camp, which I think you can probably guess what that is.
Just for that title alone.
Slayaway Camp.
Yeah.
Too bad Xbox sucks. Let's see. We have Crispin Glover set to star as a serial killer in the new movie Smiley Face Killers, which is inspired by true events, which I'm already down for, but also it's being written by Bret Easton Ellis. So
Ow.
there's
Yeah, no thank you.
There's a trailer out for it now. It looks, I don't know. That'll be out December 8th. That's the thing. It's like I feel like these movies are either the projects are either being announced super super early, like we're just developing it, or super late, where it's like, hey, you've never heard of this, but guess what? It's coming out.
Yeah,
like,
it's coming out into
weird.
all of the theaters that are closing down. So good luck.
Yeah, for real. Let's
Also,
see.
I'm tired of watching people be like, I can't believe movie theaters are closing down. Like,
Really?
yeah. It's just, I hate everybody.
Let's see. WWE has announced the WCW event Halloween Havoc.
Bastards. Gonna waste the best pay-per-view WCW had.
And-
what, dude, did you have,
I'm bitter about
do you know
it.
what matches are part of it yet?
No, they haven't announced that.
Yeah, I don't think they've said.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like
but
that should
that'll
be in the works since I assume that's airing soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be the 28th.
Of course, I guess since half of their fucking roster keeps getting COVID, that's probably not helpful.
Yeah, they don't book any of their shit until like 2 hours before the program anyway. So
So yeah, we'll see how that's gonna be.
instead, just watch Halloween Havoc '97, so you can see Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Or '98, and you can watch Goldberg and DDP.
No, thank you.
It's Goldberg's one good match, okay? Other than William Regal kicking his ass.
Goldberg was so fucking boring to watch. I don't understand. Like,
He's
I mean, Grant, like,
he's fun, but he's a terrible wrestler.
that's the thing. Like, when like I was like probably 12 or 13 when like that shit was happening, when he was like doing the undefeated streak, and I was like way into it. But then you look back, you're like, God, this is fucking boring.
I gotta send you like the only cool thing he's ever done in the ring. That's whenever he was fighting Glacier, the karate Mortal Kombat guy,
Yeah.
and he like ducks a kick and then does a backflip over a leg sweep. It's like, okay, that was actually pretty sick. Goldberg should have done more of that.
I watched like a clip. Was Goldberg part of this? I can't remember if he was or not. Of like periodically like some like a wrestling page will like hit like during Instagram's Explore, and I'll end up fucking falling down a rabbit hole where they'll post like the full 10-minute like matches of shit, and it was like some WCW match that took place with like in a cage that was like 3 cages stacked on top of each other.
Oh
And,
yeah,
like,
the David Arquette cage.
No, it was, well, maybe, but David Arquette wasn't in it. It was like it was some NWO thing where it was the one where Mr. Perfect fucking turned on the 4 Horsemen.
Oh, it was War Games where it's the 2 cages next to each other.
Yeah, but then there were like
2 rings.
there were like 2. There was also 2 cages on top, so there was like a 3-level thing. It was fucking very strange, and I was like, they jumped the horse with this fucking insane setup. Donate to our Patreon kit now. Start a fucking podcast where we talk about 90s wrestling.
WCW. Yeah.
We'll make Katie watch it too.
No, that's okay. Have you guys heard about this new action fantasy movie called Jiu-Jitsu?
No.
It is about an ancient order of expert jiu-jitsu fighters facing alien invading Earth. They basically come and invade Earth every 6 years, and the jiu-jitsu fighters have to band together to defeat them. And the movie is starring Nicolas Cage and Tony Jaa.
Oh man, whatever this Cage is doing.
Isn't that just the plot of Mortal Kombat?
Well, not jiu-jitsu.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Let's watch Mortal Kombat.
Nicolas Cage has like long hair on the poster, and he also has a sword for some reason. But I like Tony Jaa a lot, so I was like surprised to see him in something
I saw
like that.
photos being released of Nick Cage and that oh shit, what's the title? It's like The Unbearable Weight of Greatness or whatever the fucking movie that where Nick Cage is playing Nick Cage.
Oh.
And I want that movie so bad.
Oh, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Oh no, that's a different
movie.
There's...
I don't know. I saw it on Twitter. I can't remember what it was called though. I think I retweeted it.
Well, there's also one called The Unbearable Lightness of Boning.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, I see. 2021.
I'm real mad I'm not watching Psycho Gorband right now. BT dubs. It's premiering at Beyond Fest or fucking whatever tonight, and I'm so mad I can't watch it.
Whatever online festival.
There's been so many
festivals are now,
and I'm just like mad about it.
Yeah, I want to watch all of. I don't even watch like the rest of the movies. I don't even care. I just want to watch Psycho Goreman.
I'm gonna watch all 12 Friday the 13th movies in a row.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Apparently, this Jiu-Jitsu movie is supposed to come out this November.
I mean, it's a Nick Cage movie, so it's definitely going straight to streaming. So
yeah,
I am gonna watch it.
I will also watch it.
I watched some fucking. Well, we'll get to that. Is that all the news?
Yeah.
All right. What?
I got one,
good.
And it's relevant to your interest, Nathan.
I'm listening.
The Chiodo Bros have an animated Christmas special coming to Netflix.
Oh, I think
called Alien Xmas.
Saw that.
Pass.
Yeah, you'll watch it. No, you won't.
Yeah.
You don't have Netflix. I wonder if they're still doing Killer Clowns sequel or not.
It's supposed to be like a TV show or something on Sci-Fi,
Well, yeah, it's
right?
supposed to be going to Sci-Fi, but I just wondered if like COVID shit like ended that. Like there were like updates, and then like everything in the world happened, and I just never saw anything about it again. So.
Well, that Christmas one is like stop motion. Is the other one stop motion? Because I feel like you don't need a lot of people to.
Well, no.
Like you could do that.
They were doing a sequel to Killer Clowns from Outer Space for Sci-Fi.
Oh, but like a live action.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. What? You guys watch anything good this week? Kate.
I watched Possessor.
Oh yeah.
Which is fucking sick.
I want to watch that.
David Cronenberg's son.
His movies are fucking weird. I want to see that.
Antiviral was super weird. I don't remember a whole lot about it other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one insanely like graphic. There's a child like walking down the street because it was like out at the drive-in, walking down the street and just like peeked his head around to see what was happening and just heard screaming and saw him like running off. Like, all right, yeah, this is a good film.
Hello, Baker.
What the hell is playing?
Sorry.
Sorry, Hello Bakers.
I was queuing up Halloween Baking Championship.
What the hell? Did you watch anything, Katie?
Yeah, I did. I finally watched The Witching Season, which is like it's like 5 episodes, but they're like a little short anthology, and I've been wanting to watch it for a while now, and I just like never did for whatever reason. I really liked it. It's pretty like they're just like short little stories, not a ton of like I don't know, whatever. I recommend it just to like check out. I really liked the way it was filmed, and like the sets were really cool. And then I also watched Cobra Kai, and it kicks ass.
Everyone says it's really good, but I didn't like Karate Kid at all, even as a kid. So like, I feel like I'm just not gonna care watching it.
Probably not, because it like Well, I haven't finished the second season. The first season was like amazing. I loved it. The second season is like pretty different, and I still like it, but like I don't know what. I have like 2 episodes left. But I feel like you do really have to care about Karate
Yeah.
Kid to like it, because there's a lot of throwbacks, and like obviously you follow Johnny Lawrence, who was like the quote unquote bad guy in Karate Kid, and Daniel is in it too, and it's like really cool because you get to see them both as like, because Johnny was like obviously really painted as like the villain in the movies, but you mostly are following him in the series, and you realize like how much of a dick Daniel is too. So it's like, it's really good. But if you don't like Karate Kid, you probably won't like it.
All right, I rewatched Creepshow 2. Still pretty good. I checked out that fucking the bloody disgusting like Roku channel thing, and
Oh yeah.
immediately turned it off after watching a documentary called The Walking Dead Girls that was absolute trash.
Yikes.
It was about a zombie and pinup girl culture, and it was terrible.
No,
Oh,
thank
no.
you.
I was doing
That-
like I think maybe editing like the episode we had just recorded. I just had it on the background, and I was like, this sucks. And then I was like,
That's a terrible convergence.
yeah, it was not good. I watched Deep Red. Rewatched that. Still pretty good. But I watched a movie called Running with the Devil, starring Nick Cage and Lawrence Fishburne, where they are not
Joggers?
No, like drug mules isn't the right word, but they're just kind of like drug dealers, and like Lawrence Fishburne is like hooked on something, and like one of the first scene you see of Lawrence Fishburne is him jerking off during like a live sex booth show. And it's very crazy. I was like not expecting it when it happened. I was like, oh, this is not what I expected to see Lawrence Fishburne doing in this movie.
Not definitely not anything I ever want to see him doing.
It's pretty funny though. You should watch it.
No.
You just wait till somebody picks Nick Cage for a bonus episode. I'm gonna pick that movie.
I'm just gonna pretend to have watched it.
You'd be
I think I
like,
can
I
guess
don't know.
what
I like the scene where the devil was running with him.
The devil is really fit. He could like really keep pace with them.
All right, shout outs. Go ahead, Katie.
I'm gonna shout out Bob's Burgers because their Halloween episode of this season airs on the 18th, and I think their Halloween specials are always really good, and I think it's like super underrated.
Also, just watch Bob Burgers in general.
Yes. Well, I meant the show in
I
general
know.
is underrated. So yes, go watch it.
What
But the Halloween episodes are really good, so I'm excited for this one.
about you, Kit?
I was gonna say Possessor, but I'll go with a different movie called Deerskin, which is incredibly fucking weird. It's about a guy going through a divorce who buys a deerskin jacket, and it starts talking to him and tells him that the jacket's only goal is to be the only jacket in the world. So he starts stealing jackets from people,
I'm in.
and it gets way wilder from there.
How could you ever think that you were gonna destroy all the jackets in the world?
Look, he dreams big, okay?
I guess.
Let that jacket live its life.
Okay. I will.
Is that streaming on something right now?
I saw it on HBO Max. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere
Kayla
else.
and I were talking about subscribing to that, so I might have to. I need to watch that. Sounds good. All right, mine. I got 2. The podcast Unsung Horrors just started. I think last week they dropped their first 4 episodes at once. It's Erica from Customers Also Watch, a new podcast where they're reviewing horror movies that have less than 1,000 views on Letterboxd, and it's pretty good so far. The first 4 are really good. I like it a lot, so check them out. And then the new Greg Puciato, I think is how you pronounce his name. Singer from Dillinger Escape Plan released a solo album that he released early because it got leaked online, so he just threw it up on Bandcamp. Like, I think it's probably comes to Spotify like a couple days after we recorded this, but it's called Child Soldier, Creator of God, and it's really fucking good. If you like Dillinger Escape Plan, it's kind of like, it's this weird mix of like the Dillinger stuff and kind of Black Queen stuff he did, but then there's also like this very 90s Alice in Chains and Soundgarden-esque stuff on it. It's really, it's real good. I like it a lot. So check that out. It's on Bandcamp at least right now. I think they said it would hit like streaming services around like the 9th. So a couple days after we're recording this. So by the time this comes out, it's probably on like Spotify and shit. But you should buy it and support artists that aren't Metallica. Stop buying the fucking
Why do you
Blackout.
hate Metallica?
No, I like
episode?
Metallica, but it's infuriating to me how like the Black Album is constantly one of the top sellers, or like AC/DC albums and shit. Like, why are you still buying these albums?
Yeah, that is kind of weird to me.
I'm gonna go buy 4 copies right
go
now.
buy Beatles fucking #1 greatest hits album or some shit, or Eagles
#1 grooves.
Eagles greatest hits. It's constantly, that's like the top selling album of
How
all
dare
time.
you?
Like, haven't you heard enough for free in movies and at the grocery store that you like don't need to buy this stuff
I
anymore?
heard a fucking Christmas song at work last night. I wanted to kill myself.
No.
Oh no.
That's the worst.
I was like, I can't deal with this. Not in
Just burn
October.
it down.
Yeah. So I just quit.
You're good.
Alright, next week, Leprechaun 3.
In 3D.
Leprechaun leaving Las Vegas. It's a Leprechaun Nick Cage crossover where they just drink themselves to death.
Lepping Las Vegas.
There's so many good Leprechaun movie ideas in this episode. Somebody make these movies.
Get at us. For real.
Warwick Davis, hit us up.
Yeah. Or support our Patreon, and we'll bake them ourselves.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll just do the host version of a Leprechaun movie.
I would watch that. I'm not kidding.
That sounds terrible.
It's just him scampering around in the background.
Yeah.
The floating face filter is just a Leprechaun filter.
Just Warwick Davis' voice as the Leprechaun, just fucking like yelling at him as shit happens.
It's just you with the soundboard that says "Me gold."
Yeah. Yeah, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. Katie has done some snack things this week. Talking about some other things coming up. This just kind of bonus things for subscribers that aren't like the stuff we promised. Just kind of fun October things. Watch Katie eat some weird Kit Kats.
Oh man, yeah.
Cockroach Kit Kats.
Yeah. Just
Instead of chocolate, it's just roach
just
shells
a Kit Kat
on
with
the outside.
Ew.
Kit Kat with pulled gold teeth in them. You just bite into it, all your teeth break.
Listen, I'm gonna need to be paid to need to be eating things like that.
Yeah. Just subscribe and we'll make Katie eat a gold tooth.
Ugh.
If we get to $2,000 a month,
I
A gold tooth with a cockroach inside.
well, Katie will eat a gold tooth and we'll do a series on all the Rob Zombie movies.
that's asking a lot.
Yeah, the Rob Zombie movies are too much.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I think we got a tooth guy.
What if we just do it and we pretend it's real, but it's actually just like a chocolate tooth covered in gold, like in Leprechaun 2?
Or like, have you guys seen those? It's video where people like eat. It's like, I think it's like a Japanese game show where stuff in a room like they have to bite into it to find out if it's chocolate or not. But
Nope,
it's like hyper realistic
I
stuff.
will watch this show as soon as we are done. What is this called?
I don't know what it's called, but like I've seen clips of it online where like
I don't want to look
like
up
for
Japanese
example,
eating show because it's not going to come up with anything I want to see.
picks up like a loafer and like tentatively bites into it, but it's chocolate. But like sometimes they bite into a stapler and it's a real stapler.
What? That sounds amazing.
Or that it was going around for a while where like people were cutting into cutting into their phones, but it was a cake.
I've been watching 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, and it is a fucking nightmare. So I need a show where people just eat weird things.
Well, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you could go on and see me eat weird things.
Yeah. Go watch Katie eat maple popcorn and apple pie Kit Kats or some
Way to spoil it, Nathan.
weird shit that... Yeah, but if they want to see it, they still have to subscribe.
Well.
Also, the third thing is a gold tooth.
But also there's going to be videos. I'm going to post at least twice a week, either an article and a video or other stuff. I might post more frequently than that, so you'll have like multiple bonus stuff. But that's for any tier, so even if you subscribe to the $2 one, you'll get the bonus stuff that I'm posting. Just so you guys know.
Yeah. Patreon.com/IHapToSufferPodcast. Go listen to us talk about Lance Henriksen's hair for a while.
Or lack.
You can listen to our old Tales of the Crypt episode where I do a Morty impression. You could find our merch at storefrontier.com/IPSuffer. Leave us ratings and reviews on iTunes. I think we're at 39 ratings, so somebody leave us one more so we're at even 40, and then leave us 10 more so we're 50.
And then
19 more so we're at 69.
Yeah, get us to 69 by the end of the fucking October.
Do it. Yes.
Follow us on Twitter at IHapToSuffer and Instagram at IHapToSufferPodcast. Follow us on the things. I don't know. Guerrilla Radio.
Lights out.
Alright, I'm gonna go eat some pizza.
I'm also eating pizza.
Okay, and I think I'm gonna get the
Gold tooth pizza.
Yeah.
The what?
Gold tooth pizza.
What happened? Oh.
No, this pizza place here that does like a bunch of different vegan ones has a what essentially I think is a vegan Big Mac pizza that has French fries, special sauce, and like hamburger, Beyond Meat on it. And I might try that.
That sounds incredible.
Oh, that sounds.
Oh, update on.
What?
Send pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to see it.
Kit, you need to. Well, I'm just having regular old, plain basic pizza, but update on the Gardein soups.
Oh, they're so
I've tried
good.
the beef one, the beef stew, and the jambalaya. The jambalaya was like legit amazing, and it tasted exactly like jambalaya. The beef stew one I thought sort of left to be desired, but I also have chicken and rice, so I'm gonna try that one.
We got both. We found both, like the regular chicken noodle and the chicken with rice. They're both really good.
Okay,
So,
yeah, the chicken is the only one I haven't tried, but
hard stand.
they're amazing. Yeah.
All right. I hope you eat soup, but why?
I love it.